One thing I've learned after years exploring wilderness is that you really have to be prepared for anything. Whether it be rain or the bitter cold. We're in the Sawtooth Mountains on the north shore of Lake Superior, and a massive cold front has just moved in. So join us for some peace and adventure on the North Shore. This is Tiny Cabin Life. We're in the Superior National Forest, or what's known as the North Shore region here in Minnesota. The North Shore is defined by Lake Superior, which is the largest freshwater lake in the world. At almost 32,000 square miles, it's larger than the state of South Carolina. And surrounding the Great Lake here in Minnesota is a vast wilderness and crown jewel of our state. It's made up of thousands of inland lakes and hundreds of rivers and streams. And hovering above it all are the Sawtooth Mountains, Minnesota's one and only mountain range. Our home base for this trip is this beautiful off-grid cabin overlooking Lake Superior. It's a true off-grid oasis here on the North Shore, and the perfect place to start our adventure. Well, we are back at this beautiful cabin on Lake Superior, and I am so happy to be here. This is just the perfect time to be up on the North Shore. We're here at the turn of the season where fall is definitely upon us, and that's just gonna make for some awesome adventures on this trip. Now, while I finish whipping up some breakfast, let's take a look around the cabin. The inside is comfortable and cozy. You've got this nice sitting area with this hanging swing, as well as a propane fireplace, which provides the heat as well as a touch of ambiance. The sleeping quarters are up in the loft, which has this big comfy bed with just an incredible view of Lake Superior. The outdoor space has everything that you could want and more. There's a fire ring, which we certainly will use later on today, as well as a hammock for putting your feet up after a long day out on the trail. There is this cool little A-frame outhouse for all your bathroom needs, and even a wood-fired sauna, or sauna as it's actually pronounced. The entire camp is truly off-grid, utilizing solar power for electricity, as well as collecting rainwater, which makes for an authentic and rewarding experience while you're here. Now with that out of the way, let's get on to breakfast. As you can see, I've got just the perfect breakfast sandwich here. Sausage, hash browns, and egg. After breakfast, it was finally time to get out and do some exploring. Our first stop of the day is up the Gunflint Trail, where we're going to attempt a pretty ambitious hike, especially for the weather that we're getting today. It's about an 8-mile round trip, which will take us into the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness and end up at a pretty incredible waterfall. I'm excited to get out on this trail again, but as you can see, we're getting some significant rain right now. Not only does it make the experience less pleasant, but it also makes the hiking a lot more difficult and a little sketchy in areas.
And so we're gonna have to just be careful out there. Take things how they come and see what happens.
Anytime you head into the boundary waters, you need to fill out this self-issued permit. It just lets rangers know who's all out there and how long they plan to be there so that they can keep track of everybody.
Well, we're out on the trail and the parking lot was completely empty. So I think we're gonna be the only ones out today. This trail is great because it rewards you right off the bat. Just up at the top of this ridgeline, we get just an amazing view, and it's not even a half a mile into the trail.
This is Bearskin Lake, a long, narrow, and winding body of water that stretches from east to west. As you can see, there are a few islands out there, and it really has a wilderness quality to it. The lake is right on the edge of the boundary waters and is a great first stop on our hike today.
It is views like this that you just do not get anywhere else really in the state of Minnesota. It also blows my mind that we technically have a mountain range here. The Sawtooths run through this area, and I'm so glad we get to explore them as much as we do.
We continue down the trail towards Moss Lake, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from Bearskin. And it's really here where the trail starts to get a little more rugged.
Ooh. Woo. You all right, Al? So this right here is the rock that gets really slippery in the rain. And as you can see, Ellie almost fell down. We gotta be real careful.
And just like that, we are at the overlook of Moss Lake. Moss Lake lies just northeast of Bearskin and actually sits a little bit higher in elevation. The lake received its name because its water tends to be darker than the surrounding lakes due to more tannins and organic material.
Man, at the beginning here, it's so hard to make progress on this trail because it's just gorgeous view after gorgeous view. Oh, and here comes the rain. So we're starting to make our way down in elevation, down towards lake level. We've been up on this ridge line for a while, but we're going down. I think we're coming up to the really steep section. You gotta kind of show Ellie the way to go here. We're down.
The trail continues downward through the forest until we reach this little creek here. I had a hard time tracking down the source of this creek, but from what I can tell, it comes out of Bearskin Lake and drains into Duncan Lake. It's not a huge stream, but definitely offers a nice little stop along the trail here.
I'm always amazed by little streams like this. They're just so tranquil and the water looks incredibly pure. It's a nice little oasis here in what's been a little bit of a grueling stretch. Oh man, this is bad. This is the trail ahead of us, and as you can see, there's just a massive tree in the way.
Well, as the rain began to pick up once again, I got out the old map to see what was going on here. And it turned out that we accidentally made a wrong turn off onto what seems to be a social trail. So thankfully, we don't have to get around this tree, we just have to turn back and correct our course.
Wow, that is stunning. We are high up here right now. Man, oh man.
As we stood there taking in the view, I noticed that our surroundings began to change.
Oh, we got some heavy wind and the rain is really picking up. Not to mention it's really, really cold as well. Yeah, I think this is where we gotta call it. It would not be safe to continue in these conditions, that's for sure. And we still have about 2 miles to reach the waterfall. And then from there, it'd be about 4 miles back to the truck. As much as I wanted to make it there, it's not worth getting into a dangerous situation. Man, is that rain and wind cold. Holy cow. Those were hypothermia conditions for sure.
After a long, cold hike, we finally got back to the overlook at Bearskin Lake. And somehow, just moments later, the skies cleared and sunshine returned. Alright guys, I want to take a quick moment here to thank this week's video sponsor, Mud Water. Pretty frequently nowadays, I like to substitute in mud water for my cup of coffee in the morning, especially when I'm getting up super early like I am today. It just makes me feel so much better, especially when I need to settle my stomach a little bit or if I'm experiencing some reflux, which happens from time to time. Mud Water Original is made from organic cacao, masala chai, and functional mushrooms. Now you guys know that I love my coffee, but here's the beauty of Mud Water. It still has caffeine, just only a fraction of what you're gonna get in a cup of coffee, just enough to give you the same result without the crash and negative effects that you might receive later. Mud Water delivers energy, focus, and immune support. I like that I can have it in the morning or even in the mid-afternoon and still get to sleep on time, which is super important when I'm out on these adventures. It's got super clean ingredients as well, with zero sugar or sweeteners of any kind. It's super easy to make as well. You just add 1 tablespoon, or in my case here, just pour a little bit into a cup of hot water, and you're good to go. So if you want to upgrade your morning ritual and try mud water, you can follow the link in the description of this video or scan that QR code. And make sure you use my exclusive code TinyCabinLife to get 15% off your first order plus a free frother. It's a sweet deal and a great way to get started. And with that, I want to once again thank Mudwater for sponsoring this video. After such a wild hike up off the Gunflint Trail, I decided to head to the shore of Lake Superior for a nice little walk before heading back to the cabin. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world. At almost 32,000 square miles, it holds more water than all of the other Great Lakes combined. It stretches nearly 350 miles from east to west. I never tire of Lake Superior. It's just like we have our own ocean here in the upper Midwest. Well, the rain has started up once again. Man, oh man, we just can't get away from it today. Oh my gosh, we got a rainbow leading right to where the truck is. Let's go see if there's a pot of gold. Come on, El, let's go. Oh no, it's fading. We're missing our opportunity. Well, I think I've had enough of being out in the elements. Let's head back to the cabin. When we got back to the cabin, the weather had cleared up once again, and it was time to get a fire started. Well, I gotta say, it feels pretty good to be relaxing here at the cabin and to have a little bit of sunshine. Today was a pretty crazy weather day. Just so much wind and rain and bitter cold. But I gotta say, it was invigorating. And it felt good to get back out into like true wilderness. Dear God, thank you for a great day today and for keeping us safe. Bless this food. Amen. Well, I went with a pretty simple meal for dinner tonight. I just heated up this barbecue chicken and some potatoes, but I also have this caprese salad that I brought from home as well. So it's gonna be a nice, well-rounded dinner. All right, we'll start with a little potato here. Oh yeah, it's even better as a leftover. All right, now let's go for the chicken. So bomb. I love barbecue from time to time. Not always, but every now and then, oh my gosh, it hits the spot.
Next stop, the Twilight Zone. The home of Mr. Gregory West, one of America's most noted playwrights. The office of Mr. Gregory West. Mr. Gregory West, shy, quiet, and at the moment, very happy.
This projector has been quite the upgrade from the iPad.
And the final ingredient, Mrs. Gregory West.
It's pretty sweet to just have a big screen TV anywhere you want it.
Well, I didn't expect you to... What's the matter, dear? Something wrong?
All right, it's about time to hit the hay. The plan is to get up at like 4 a.m. because we're going to go fishing right when the sun comes up. And it's going to be quite an adventure as well. We have to take the raft down river about a mile to get to this like super awesome lake. Now, it's not going down the river that has me worried. It's whether our trolling motor can get us back up the river. So we're going to have to like test things out and make sure it can handle that before we commit. So with that, I think it's time to get some sleep. We'll see you first thing in the morning. Good night. Morning, Al. Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous for this. Nervous and excited. I've never had to take a river to get to a lake. Now, thankfully, this is not like a raging river. However, we have to make sure that the trolling motor can get back up the river current. And so that's gonna be the first thing we do once we blow up the raft. This is certainly a unique fishing opportunity. What makes it so is that the lake is technically a part of the river. And so it not only has the normal types of fish that you would expect up here, like walleye and northern pike, but you also have the chance of catching some pretty large trout as well. And due to how shallow the water is, it's less difficult to track down these fish than it would be in a larger, deeper lake. And so it's definitely worth the trouble of getting the boat in the water and seeing if it can handle the river current.
This thing blows up incredibly fast. I just love it. It's been such an awesome boat for the little time that I've had it. All right, here goes nothing. We've got so many things in place here to keep us safe. Not only do we have the motor, but we have oars. I have a GPS unit that's going to be tracking us the whole way. I can send messages. I've got water. I've got our water filter. We've got everything we need. Well, so far the current's not bad at all, but there are so many weeds getting on this prop. And that's the main problem. It just like won't turn because there's a lot of weird stringy weeds that are getting caught around it. I do have the oars, and I'm gonna have to use them here because I'm drifting away from the landing as we speak. Man, it's a bummer.
Disappointing as that may be, I'm grateful to have not gotten stranded out there. And thankfully, I picked out a backup lake nearby in case this didn't work out.
Little windy. Cow. Man, I just can't catch a break, can I? Well, it's worth a shot. We can at least make our way kind of around the banks here. That's where the fish would be anyway, so we'll get out there, we'll see what happens, but this is not looking good. It is so choppy out here, and honestly the dark clouds behind me don't make me feel very good either. This spot up here has a little bit of shelter, so we'll try to anchor and see what we can do. Got one on. Whoa. Oh! Oh! Oh man! He took my lure, and I had a good knot on there, I thought, so that really bugs me. But hey, at least we know they're in here. Heck yeah.
After thinking about it for a little bit, I realized that the drag on my reel was far too tight. What that means is that when the fish was pulling there, it was putting too much strain on the line. And so if the drag was a little bit more loose, the fish would have had more room to swim around and would have tired himself out a little bit, and I probably would have been able to pull him into the boat.
Man, today just was not the day. These conditions are just awful.
The wind just continued to pick up, and with the temperature being in the mid-30s, definitely seemed like it was time to call it quits. But all in all, this was a pretty awesome little trip. We definitely experienced the power of nature on this one. And even though it didn't make for the most pleasant conditions at times, it's truly exhilarating and a great reminder to always be prepared when you head out into the wild.
All in all, though, it was an absolute adventure, and I had a great time, as I always do, up here on the North Shore. Now, real quick, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel. Thank you guys so much. But again, all of you who watch these videos, you mean the world to us, and I'm incredibly grateful. But for now, I got to get this boat loaded up in the truck so so I can get home and see the girls. We'll see you next week. God bless.